Jai Gurudev. Question. For the last month after my father's death, my health has not been good. A feeling of fear persists. Sometimes I fear that some good or evil spirits are following me. Sometimes in the middle of night I have nightmares and I start shaking with fear. I also wonder at times whether I will have to go through lots of mental and physical sufferings because of doing too much meditation. Answer. It seems that your state is caused by sadness from your father's death. Mourning intensely for a long time causes the mind to become weak and think about irrelevant things. At that time, the mind feels that unforeseen calamities are likely to occur and imaginative misfortune causes fear. One must rid of unnecessary worries and try to overcome the depression caused by his father's death. Spirits cannot do any damage to a person whose Shakti is active. Sometimes the aspirant feel that the spirit has entered into them. At times, activities of Mother Kundalini may feel like a spirit. Furthermore, when Shakti becomes extremely gracious, it is directly visible. By becoming directly experiential, the Shakti talks like another spirit, gives advice, and protects the aspirant. If such an experience is taking place, do not be afraid. Instead, believe the goddess Shakti is coming alive and you will have a direct realization. When an external spirit enters someone, the person becomes unconscious. But when Shakti is working, the person has full awareness. It feels as if someone has entered and the body is filled with a new charge. If you have such an experience, do not be afraid. Know that no other spirit can damage you in any way. Because of the fear, your health also suffers. Do not weep so much after your father. Everyone has to go one day or another. Could your father have lived forever? Will you live forever? To think that sadhana can do something bad to you also is a baseless fear. All the activities and kriyas due to sadhana occur for your betterment. There is no chance of any harm. If during kriyas you see some terrible things or bad omens, be confident that it will do some good for you eventually. The inability to understand the process of purification of the chitta can give rise to such doubts. It is best to get rid of these doubts immediately. Because of this, you must not think that some harm may occur due to sadhana, and continue to do the sadhana with faith. Other yoga practices such as Hatha Yoga require knowledge, caution, and are prone to problems if the teacher is not physically available to guide the disciple. But this sadhana of Kriya Shakti is self perfecting. The Shakti is all knowing. It is fully aware of the past impressions, requirements of the aspirant. Consequently, whatever experience is required for the aspirant's progress takes place in the form of Kriya. When the aspirant leaves the responsibility of sadhana to the awakened Shakti with a total surrender, he becomes happy and composed. There is no place for even a doubt of potential harm. Such aspirants have to remember a few things. They must get over the mourning after a dear one's death and remove the doubt of being possessed by some spirit. They must remove all doubts that sadhana can cause any harm and maintain a worry free, happy temperament. They must maintain strong faith in the Guru and the awakened Shakti and fill their life with continuous sadhana and devotion towards the goddess within. Question. It is said that Shakti protects the aspirant, gives forewarning of catastrophe, but I have seen that this does not happen with all initiated aspirants. Why is it so? Answer. In eyes of God, everyone is equal, not only for human beings but also for animals. God has the same grace, but experiences differ because of differences in one's capability to receive the grace. If an aspirant remains in close touch with the subtle activities of the Shakti, he is able to experience the Kriyas to a greater depth. Just as some people have very sharp eyesight, some are totally blind, and some are able to see only to a degree, everyone has their own level of capabilities. Similarly, in the subtle inner world, each aspirant has his or her own level of capabilities. There is another reason for this. Shakti is all knowing and mother of every being. All of her activities are for the betterment of all. Whether or not the aspirant can discriminate between good or bad, Shakti may give forewarning and protect some aspirants, while she may punish others for past actions and uplift them by purifying their sanskars. The ignorant and imperfect aspirant does not know what is good for him and what is not good for him. This is known only to the goddess Mahamaya Shakti. An aspirant may talk about high philosophy and nurture his ego, but his knowledge is so limited that he does not even know what has been accumulated in his chit. Therefore, there is only one way for the aspirant, the way of surrender. A real aspirant sees the divine grace of Mother Shakti. If he gets into some difficulties, he is protected by Shakti. Then he says, Mother, you are very compassionate. You take so much care of a person like me who has no virtue, no strength, and no good karma. If he faces difficulties, he also sees grace in those. He thinks, I was lost in worldly pleasures, believing them to be eternal. I had become attached to circumstances, but by the grace of the compassionate Mother who destroyed this attachment, I am seeing the reality about worldly involvement. Thus, the aspirant sees nothing but the grace of God in every situation, in every kriya. He experiences gains and losses, pleasures and pains, and rise above imaginative ordeals. For that aspirant, the pathway to attaining God or self become easy and even. Jai Gurudev.